Hello guys and welcome to the patch overview of CB0.23. Now, this patch notes came yesterday, but I didn't want to do it the review now just because I will think that maybe they will add some of the things, and I was right. They added two new cards basically. So now it's gonna be the time that we're going to review this one. So we're going to try and analyze a little bit what's happening into this patch. So first of all, and one of the biggest change yet, is that all minions have been moved to neutral. So what does this mean? This means that stuff like Sorcerer, which is the Norse minion that give +1/+1 to all adjacent, is going to be able to be played in Greek, where you can have Scylla and Apollo to buff it. What else is really relevant? Imperial Archer is going to be played probably also in some heavy spell decks, maybe in Greek or also Egyptian. We have something like Venator, who can be played also in lots of the pantheons now. Marksman is going to be interesting also. Maybe we're going to see a lot more marksman in a lot more decks. And then what else? What else? Imperial Guard maybe also in some Egyptian decks. Decrepit Bowman is going to be a really good card that's going to be played. So you can think of some things, and you know, I like that change, right? They were trying neutral spells, and then they move all the spells to the Pantheon, and then they have some neutral minions, some minions, and they decide to move all the minions to neutral. So I don't know. I kind of feel it. Yes, more of the deck are going to have the same cards, but the deck are going to, I guess, lose a little bit also of their uniqueness. But on another side note, they're going to gain, like, they're going to be more unique with the gods. It's going to make the gods much more impactful. Now, another big change coming in is there is only one leader per pantheon. Keep in mind, guys, this is it. You know, in yellow here, these are not finalized patch notes, and everything is subject to change before CB 0.23 release. But you know, most of it should be accurate. So, only one leader per pantheon. And these leaders are going to be Zeus, Odin, Bellona, Ra, and Nuwa. So we're only going to have 5 leaders. Now, they also saying that player will be receiving full dust for every skin and leader card that are no longer leaders. So you're going to be refound, the full dust of them. And you know, only having one leader, I kind of like that. Because yes, you will lose some ways of play the Pantheon. So it's going to be more of the same decks, but at the same time, when you have 2 leaders on a pantheon, they will most likely always have a better leader than the other. For example, Zeus and Poseidon, like most of the time, Poseidon was the way to go and Zeus was not played. Some exception to that will be like Nuwa with the Beast team and Guan Yu with the spell heavy team. That was really one pantheon with 2 ways to play it. So now it's gonna be much more like, you're not gonna have to choose the leader really for the pantheon. You choose the pantheon, you have the leader, so it's basically you're not gonna have useless leaders, and it also makes it a little bit easier to balance. Like Freya was so hard to balance that finally it's gonna only be Odin in the pantheon, then Freya will not be in the leader anymore. Added leader intro cinematics, I guess that's gonna be cool. Aura now displays aligned to all adjacents affected by the buff, and that's gonna be a little bit easier to keep track of what's buffing what. General buff special effect is now indicative of team color. Oh, my English was really bad in that one. The general buff special effect is now indicative of team color. I guess we're gonna have some different color whenever your stuff get buffed. Now, new cards, and this is really, I really like these new leaders turned into cards. Isis, a legendary with a war cry that gives all friendly afterlife and resurrect. So basically, everything that you have on board is going to resurrect if they die. That can be countered by like silence, but there's not a lot, like chaos spawns and the card silence itself. And you're gonna only be able to target one. But that could be really interesting in stuff like Anubis and Gabs, even Neat. So yeah, I really like that. There's no mana cost, and most of the cards don't have mana cost, so they'll still be determined. But we're gonna see depending on the mana cost, obviously. So Guan Yu, Chinese, legendary. Whenever you play a spell, deal 1 damage to all enemies. So this is basically a better Imperial Archer, but it's really going to depend on the mana cost of Guan Yu. Right? If it's like 8 mana, depending also on the stats, maybe it's not worth that much. Now, Freya, legendary also, deal 2 damage 4 times, and I believe it's probably different target, but I'm not so sure. And unit that are not killed or banished, and I guess it's banished for until the next turn, obviously. Now Poseidon, and this is probably why we didn't have the Kraken in these hotfix and last patch. Replace your leader ability with the Kraken, and that's gonna be really cool to see. Nox, a legendary Warcry. Nox enter a friendly unit, giving them her attack and health as a buff. That's gonna depend what his or attack and health, and I guess she's gonna be ranged, so low attack, high health. When target dies, Nox buff out. And this is like exactly what's happening in Smite with her 3 or dash. I really like that. So these are the 5 new cards, the leaders being changed to, and I think all of them are really cool and unique. And I'm so glad Freya still have that identity of Vanish, but not as a leader. Bludgeon, that's gonna be Roman's spell, I believe. Deal 2 damage to all enemy in a column, and move them back 1 row. So I don't know where is move them back 1 row, probably depending on your side or how you decide to cast it. That's going to be a little bit awkward to decide, but you know, it's going to be interesting. Deal 2 damage also. 2 damage is, you know, the magic number now is 3, is not 2. Bolster, Roman, give all friendly adjacents to another friendly, protect 1. Now, here's the interesting thing. This, it really depends. Like the mana cost is not that big of a deal, right? But the biggest deal is it for 1 turn, or is it for the rest of the game, like Weakening Curse and Crippling Curse? And that could be really cool if it's for the rest of the game. That could make, like, for example, Terra so hard to kill, and if you're adjacent to friendly, I believe Summoning Stones still count as a friendly, right? Well, yeah, you can just boost everything around the Summoning Stone. Now, Pin, Roman card. Enemy who move on this turn are stunned. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I guess it's not going to cause that much. But if they move on their turn, means that they need to move on your turn when you cast it. So, we'll see about that one. Now, Tenacity. Choose a friendly. Whenever an enemy moves, that friendly gains +1/+1. Okay, whenever an enemy moves, your guy get a buff, basically. Yeah, I guess that could snowball if you just leave some money in the back. Like on a baboon or something like that. That could be funny. Shackles. Select 2 adjacent units. If they move away from each other, both take 3 damage. And 3 damage is, like I said, the magic number. That could be cool. That's gonna force their unit to move together. Divan Vengeance, Greek. Deal 4 damage to all units that aren't gods. Which means most of the minion, except like the Revived Tomb Warden, or the Spartan. Greek, Chinese. Chinese has Uguay. No, that's 4. That still dies unless the Uguay is buffed. Then what do we have? Then Norse, no. They all die in Norse. They all die. Greek, yeah. I think Spartan is the highest that survives. Egyptian, all. Oh no, Kepri's a god. Yeah, so it kills most of the minions. There's not a lot that survive. I can just believe Spartan and And revive Tomb Warden. It's gonna have 5 health. And then Roman, would they have? Oh, Gallus is going to survive. I think that's it. And Gallus is gonna be immune to. No, it's not. He is not immune, but he can make the other ones immune. Yeah, that's right. And did I miss? No, miss. It did all the pantheons, right? Greek, Egyptian, Roman, Norse, and Chinese. Yeah, so that's about it. It's like 2-3 units that survive that. Ascension, recall every unit on a battlefield. And it's Greek, it's not Chinese. And that's really cool because not only you recall everything, so you reset the board, but you, like, as a Greek, you probably have lots of recall effects. Not recalls, a lot of battle cry effects. Which means that you're going to have the value from replaying that battle cry, like Athena, for example. Ares, another example. Nemesis, Thanatos, you know what I'm saying, right? Deicide, kill a god. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Probably costing less than execute. And then you just kill a god. And that's probably most of the time an execute is going to be using a god. Most of the time. Like maybe 70% of the time. Pummel, Chinese. Deal 1 damage to an enemy unit and stun them. I like that. That really goes well with the Imperial Army that will be neutral now, but yeah, that sometimes you're lacking just that 1 damage, and it's not going to be really good with Imperial Guard, but anything else that they're going to play is going to be really good on them. Like, Blade Mastering something, and then stunning, and then trading, your Blade Master still full health. It's going to be really good. Calamity, a Chinese also spell. Stun all enemies in a column. It's kind of like a Cataclysm, but different, so I guess it's going to cost 3 mana, and it's also a C starting letter. It's funny. Contemplation. Add 2 Clear Minds to your hand. And then Clear Minds, Chinese, also does a thing, maybe? Oh my god, this is so troll. Okay, I guess Clear Minds. Well, that's about it. So Dune Guardian, the neutral minion, I guess. Whenever a friendly is healed, gain +2/+0. But we don't have the stat of the minion. And heal, that's gonna go with Ra. Yeah, oh, new leader abilities, unless Ra can't heal anymore. Sacred Warrior, whenever a friendly is healed, draw a card. So that's definitely going with Ra, these two. And that's like a Decrepit Bowman, but different. Now, new leader's ability. Let's see. Ra, new ability. Restore 1 health, so it's still healing to all friendly in a column. Oh, I see. I see. So then Ra, you're going to position your things in a column, and then which was the Roman, are going to punish you with what was stunning everything on a column. No, Chinese are going to stun you. Oh, it's Chinese. That's not Roman. That's going to be cool then. Okay, anyways, going with Zeus. New leader ability. Give a friendly god +1/+1. So like that's like a beast, but for gods. Okay. Thanatos can be really scary now if you usually Thanatos just have 2 health, so he dies to a lot of things, but then if you can just use that, maybe he's gonna be a 4/3, be able to trade onto something else. That can also be good like with Nemesis, being as resilient as she is. So yeah, I believe all the leader's abilities still gonna cost 2 mana, since it's not specified here. Odin, new ability, deploy a 1/1 Curse Warrior with charge. But I guess that's gonna be more in line for like using Frenzy and Course. I think that's about the synergy that he's gonna have in the Pantheon, right? Zeus, obviously, he's gonna play a lot of the gods because they have battle cries and they're good for trading and stuff. So he's probably gonna have some gods to buff at some point, just like Nuwa, you were playing beasts because you needed to. Odin, though, it's like doing a damage, but then you're deploying a Curse Warrior around your Summoning Stone, and it only has a limited range, so it's gonna be, and it deals only 1 damage. Yeah, the synergy in this in the Pantheon, I don't see it that much. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. And that's all the new cards, right? There's no Norse cards that were new. Okay. Bellona, new ability. Move a unit up to 3 tiles away. Oh, so that's like Blink for 2 mana. And then it's going to go with Shackle. It's going to go with Tenacity, right? What was the other one that move in 1 turn? Here, Pin. That's probably, but move and teleport. Is it the same thing? I guess it's going to count. Okay, but these cards really relying on this one. It's really going to depend on the Bellona ability. It's going to depend on the mana cost of these cards, right? Because they're going to have to add 2 mana to use Bellona ability. But not also that. This means that Bellona is going to be able to position a lot more better his army with her leader ability, but she will lose health. For example, the Venators are going to lose lots of the health, and a 3/4 Venator was really better than a 3/2 Venator. That's going to be a nerf to Venator, basically. Especially with the Enlist, the Venators, the Sagittarius that could pop and then boost both of these Sagittarius. Now, it's not going to be as good with the new Bellona ability. But Terra, for example, instead of having a 6/8 Terra, you can blink something into the Terra and then use it more to go with Terra. And also, if you're using Roman, no, wasn't it something that was dealing into a whole column? No, it's Calamity. Oh, okay, no, I thought I had something here. Bludgeon, yeah, bludgeon. With the blink also is going to be really useful if you want to get the extra damage, like killing something that has 2 health and is annoying. Raw, we already read that one. That's gonna be. You can heal more though, but you heal less. So yeah, and it's also going to be a little harder to heal your Summoning Stone now, because it's gonna be awkward, because it's like defense, but maybe you want to be offense. Nuwa, it's new ability, I guess. Add a Crescent Blade spell to your hand. So that's basically Guan Yu. So Guan Yu's literary ability became Nuwa one, and Nuwa just lost her. And I like that, right? Because Nuwa is like the mother of the Chinese pantheon, I think, like the highest in the pantheon, and that's why she's the leader. But the identity of the pantheon was really think about the Crescent Blades, and I really like that they continue to go with that. So I like the Crescent Blade. Now, is the Crescent Blade going to be better than all the other leader abilities like we saw in this new patch, the CB0.22, and on the other patch, we always knew that the best leader ability was Crescent Blade. Now, maybe in a future nerf, we could nerf Crescent Blade to have 1 mana instead of 0 mana. So not only you will spend 2 mana to create a Crescent Blade, but you also need 1 mana to cast it. Because right now, like creating a bunch of Crescent Blades and playing Ao Kuang and using like 3 and 4 of them and killing everything is not really cool. But maybe with the rest of the patch notes, we're going to see Ao Kuang nerf or some nerf to Crescent Blade, or I don't know. But we're gonna have to test the patch before saying that Crescent Blade is again by far the best leader ability. Even though I think still gonna be it. It's gonna have interesting too. Maybe Bellona is gonna be really useful also. Odin feels though like the weakest one, just because like I said the synergy is not there. Bellona with the new cards is really good synergy, and it's also like your units gain +3 movement. That could be huge in range units also. Raw. It's the same but different, and with like these new neutral can be really good. Basically 2 mana, heal your stone, draw a card. Really good. That's pretty good. And this guy doesn't seem like it's until the end of the turn, so it's gonna snowball real hard in attack. So yeah, balance change now. Let's see. Aphrodite, 4 mana. Okay, so that's not change. She was always free and always 4 mana. Anyways. A new ability, I believe. Give a friendly protect 1. If it's a gov, give them protect 2. So no more healing. And I believe that if she dies or gets banished or anything, it will still give the friendly the protect. So that's going to be huge though. Now, there's a lot less counter to the Aphrodite. because then before you could just kill her. So that I mean I like that. I really like that. It makes it that she's gonna have an impact always when you play her. Hades, a free 5 mana, so basically the same thing again. Oh, maybe they changed the attack and the defense of Aphrodite and the attack of defense of the Hades, because we have no stats here. New ability again. While in play, enemy gods cost 2 more. That's gonna be interesting. So if you're going if you're going second and you play your Hades, then it's the turn of your opponent. Maybe he can't play that 6 mana Athena, 6 mana Sun Wukong. So it's gonna cost 7 mana. 8 mana Sun Wukong, 8 mana Athena. That's gonna be really slowing the game down for Greeks. And that's exactly what they want. With like Touch of Midas, Sentry Wards, Diamond Intervention, they're just gonna have a bunch of cards in their hand if they decide to run that. Argus is gonna be there still. Argus is gonna be played in every deck though, maybe, if they want card draw. That's gonna be also interesting. Wind Demon. Give a friendly +2/+2 and deal 3 damage to your Summoning Stone. Basically changing it for aggro. It seems like the mana cost is gonna be the same, 3 mana. I think it was 3 mana. It got changed so many times. So yeah. Could be cool. That, my friends, is gonna be insane. Soul. Yep, you heard it. Soul. The good thing though is Odin's not gonna be able to buff Soul anymore, but he's still gonna have so many ways to buff it, and Wind Demon is just another one. 3 damage to your Summoning Stone. Be like realistic. It's not gonna change anything if you're playing aggro. Like, you're still not gonna be touched. Your opponent's always gonna be on defense. Maybe though, if your opponent's playing like Chinese and he's trying to burst your Summoning Stone with spells and stuff like that, then that 3 damage could cost you the game. Guard, a card that we never really saw played, is going to be changed here. Give a friendly Guard and +0/+2. Okay. Okay. And if it already has Guard, like Brute and Xiaopeng, give it +2/+2 instead. So that will make a Brute, I don't know how mana, I think Guard is 1 mana or 2 mana? Maybe they're going to change the mana also. I'm really not sure about that. Because here, they specified that Hades is going to be 5 mana and free. And they specified Aphrodite 4 mana and free. But they didn't give any options on Wind Demon. So probably changing mana. Guard, probably changing mana. Dishonorable, probably changing mana also. Lots of stuff. Like all of these. Okay, so... maybe not these because they're just moved to Roman. Okay, let's continue. The Guard here. So that could be like, what, a 4/6... 4/6 Brute, but it's not range. Baboon, that's a 5/9 Baboon. That maybe you can play with that. Or then you can have like Ares, 4/10 Ares. That's gonna with Guard, or even Hades. If it's still a 2/6, that's gonna be a 2/8 Guard. It's a little bit weaker than a Baboon, but still, you can. Oh, and then you can buff your Hades with your Zeus ability. And then he's just got like a 4/9 Hades, and then a 5/10 Hades. Wow, with Ward, yeah, that can be nuts. And then your opponent can't like their gods cost 2 more. That could be cool. Dishonorable, deal 2 damage to all enemy units who are not adjacent to other enemy units. Tweaked from before, where Summoning Stone counted as adjacent. Ah, I see. That, wow. That could actually deal, like, again, 6-8 damage really easily if the Summoning Stone doesn't count, depending on the placement of your opponent. And that's like Roman, so then if they decide to put all of themselves in a line, then you can like bludgeon them, or in a column, sorry, and then put themselves in the line, then you just terra them. So it's going to be interesting to play against Roman now. I'm not saying that it's going to be played, but I'm definitely going to try out Dishonorable again. Unit mechanics, change. Okay, Ascensus, Thrasian, and Venator now only receive their passive bonus if they're next to a friendly unit. Okay. So no more buff with the Summoning Stone, but with the new Bellona ability, maybe it's gonna be easier to have that buff. Sprint, Move to Roman. Sprint, just for you guys who are not sure what it does, it clears the exhaustion of a unit, so you can still move and still attack. Second time. 4 mana. Epic. That is in Norse right now. That's going to be moved to Roman. So Roman getting really the board movement, board manipulation cards, like Discord, moving from Chinese, and Discord is 0 mana, and move all the opponent units in a random adjacent space. But that can be really good with like let me see, you know, the shackles, the tenacity. Oh, your opponent has like 4 units, and then you tenacity something, and then you Discord, and they get like +4/+4 because they all move. That could be really funny. Yeah. So now maybe we're gonna see some Discord. Blink also going to be moved to Roman. Norse losing that tool. And it's basically the new Bellona ability, but for 0 mana. Now need, oh, and that's about it. Okay, we don't have much left. Need, whenever a friendly is healed, gain global range until the end of the turn. Okay, so that is basically a better Stone Guardian. But again, maybe they're going to change the mana cost, maybe they're going to change the stats. Not really sure. But if Need stay as a 5 mana 4/4, and that's her new ability, that's gonna be insane. You just put it in a corner, you heal your Summoning Stone with Raw, and then you trigger your Need, you snipe with 4 attack anything's across the board. It's gonna be insane. March works in all friendlies instead of just Romans. Okay, so now you're not going to be able to play it with Rhiannis and give your opponent a March, and they're not going to be able to play it because they're not playing Roman. That was funny, but still. Now, these... Oh, but I mean, it makes sense, guys. Think about it. Moving all the minions to neutral. March is not going to be effective since it only works with the gods into Roman Pantheon. Now, at least it's going to work with all the minions. Oh, like that. Promote. Now choose a row instead of a 2x2 area. So row are the lines like this. So now you're gonna be able to get like 3-4 guys +2 health. And also think about it. Bellona not being able to use her leader ability anymore. That could make your Venators really OP. That could be a thing. And you know, maybe like Decrepit Bowman 2/4? No. What could be a good minion 2/4? Getting +2 health. Not so sure about it. Warden, no. Vulture, not really. Imperial Guard. Imperial Guard! That could be cool. 2/6, and then you play, whenever you play Promote, it's like get to a 3/6 and you get no return damage. That could be cool. Halt. Now we'll choose a column instead of a 2x2. So columns are like that, and halt is going to go really well with bludgeon, and it's still going to deal 1 damage in root. So yeah, that could be really interesting again. Basically saying like stop in the whole column, and they can't advance past that point. It's really cool. I really love what they're doing with roaming, honestly, in this patch. They get so much love. Enrage. Give a friendly +3 attack. Well, that's the card that was giving +4 attack to your leader, and then it dies. And now it gives +3 attack to a friendly, and it dies at the end of the turn. So it's like a, you know, last stand, or like Berserker mode and rage. That could really help you if, for example, you have, think about it. You have you know, a curse warrior. Oh, that's gonna be good. That's another synergy with Odin, right? You're gonna be able to combine it with 1/1 curse warrior charge to make a 4/1 charge, and then you can kill something like an Uguay that just spawned, or a Neat, or anything with like 4 health or less. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's gonna be really cool, like an Aphrodite if it's still 1/4. Yeah, okay. Where were we? Enrage. So yeah, some more synergy with Odin, and that's what I really want them to do, right? New cards that synergize well with the cards way to play the game, or the cards that are already in the Pantheon, or the leader ability. Yeah, that's really what I love. Meditation is going to be a 3x3 arena instead of a 2x2. Okay, so meditation basically is going to be like Rain of Arrows, but instead of dealing damage outside that 3x3 by 2 damage, it's going to heal everything in a 3x3 by 2. Yeah, really strong with Solbeck again. Some synergy with Neath, some synergy with the 2 new neutral units here, and I love that, right? It didn't needed that buff. I'm not so sure about it, but now it's definitely want to be something that you want in the deck. If you weren't sure about putting it before or not, if you're gonna do a heal-centered deck, Meditation is gonna be a way to go. It's gonna be so good. 2 mana for that. Maybe they're gonna change the mana again, but you know, for the information that what I have, and this is what I'm basing this overview. Now, Phantom Grasp now only can be used on a god. That's a big nerf. Move to Greek Pantheon. Oh. Okay. Okay, first of all, guys, that's really one big change. But there's one thing that I love about this change. And it's basically you now have a counter to Annihilation, right? Think about it. Because what was happening playing against Egyptian? You're like, oh, 7 mana is coming, so I'm gonna have to put 2 things on, like to put something on board that has more than 3 health if I don't want to get wiped. So you're gonna play like your Athenas at turn 6. You're gonna play like your Sun Wukongs. You're gonna play what else? You can play your Emirs. You know, anything that. And then your opponent was like, oh well, okay, I'm not gonna play Annihilation because my opponent played around Annihilation. But wait just one turn and I'm gonna have this Phantom Grasp. Right? So a player who was playing against Egyptian and was like, oh, I'm going to play a high health unit to counter the Annihilation, potentially. And then you just get like completely wrecked by Phantom Grasp on the next turn. And you're like, oh, and then the turn 9, he plays like Leader Ability and Annihilation. And then you're just so hard. It feels so bad. And if you wanted to play against Phantom Grasp, you're like, oh, I'm going to play a bunch of little units. So if he steals one, it's not going to matter. I'm going to be able to deal with it because I have a lot of little units. And then your opponent just play Annihilation. And you're like, oh my god. So you had to decide to gamble between one of the 2s, knowing that maybe your opponent will have 2. And changing it from the Greek Pantheon, from the Egyptian Pantheon to the Greek Pantheon is really going to feel a little bit better. Now, giving that, you know, Athena is in the Greek Pantheon. Athena could be like a mini Annihilation if you want, deals less damage and it's not the whole board, but it's not as bad as having it in the Egyptian Pantheon. So at least now, it's gonna be a little bit easier to play against Egyptian in this ultra late game. If the games go there, because sometimes you just lose before that, or you can just not come back into a game. But yeah, I love that change. I think I would have maybe want to see it that in. Was there a better Pantheon to put it? Like, Chinese can take care of the little stuff with the Crescent Blades. So the big stuff, Phantom Grasp, really, they could have needed it, but it would have been so good. Because now the only way to deal with the big stuff in Chinese is like Dragon King or Recalls, but Recalls doesn't really deal with them. And then you think about Norse, they lost Freya, and then they had the Weakening Curse to deal with big stuff, though. Now, Roman. Yeah, that's what Roman don't have. Something to deal with big stuff. And I think that, yeah, they have some little damage, but none of the Roman cards can really deal with a high health target. So Phantom Grasp moving to Greek, I'm not so sure about. I would have loved to see it into Roman. And not only that, but it would have been, you know, Roman lost Mercenary. Mercenary is going to be really interesting how it's going to work now. Because it's going to be in like all the Pantheon. It's going to be another neutral legendary. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think the best place to put the Phantom Grasp was really into the Roman Pantheon. Because they really need it. But yeah, not a big deal. you know, Greed's still gonna have Nemesis if they need to kill something big. And then Recall. Recall increases the mana cost from 2 to 3. Now, this is a little bit weird because Hebois didn't got changed. Yeah. Hebois, no. Okay, so basically Recall is gonna cost 1 more. It's gonna be the same price as Hebois. But keep in mind, Hebois is a 2/1 that Warcries is going to recall an enemy. Recall can be used on your own unit. Now you're gonna say, why will I recall my own unit? If you want to get the Warcry from, for example, Blade Master, you're gonna heal again, heal the Blade Master, and replay with a charge. That's gonna be really good. But other than that, there is no right now other really synergy with things that you want to recall on your army, right? So maybe moving forward, Chinese is going to have more cards with Warcries, and then maybe Recall is going to be much more used into your stuff instead of your opponent's stuff. I like that. I would also like to see maybe Hebois have a 1 mana increase, to be honest, just to be more in line. But yeah, it's still good that Recall got hit. Of course, you're going to be playing much more Hebois than Recall right now, of course. It's better. You need stuff on board to kill the enemy summoning stone, and Hebois is exactly what it does. And also Hebois is range, so this is a huge benefit. Range units, you know all about that, guys. So yeah, that's gonna be my thoughts on the CB3 0.23 patch note overview. I hope that you guys learned a lot today. I hope that you know, I'm really excited for this patch, especially like new leader's ability, a bunch of new legendary, like 5 new legendaries. We're gonna have all the minions are gonna move. I'm really excited for this patch. What do you think about it? Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to just like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out, and I'll see you soon.